What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the Sunbelt Syndicate as we continue to make our way through the Sunbelt on baseball previews. With us tonight, we've got the Georgia Southern Eagles, Brady Pendley, Coach Cody Wofford, and Shaun White. Coach, you said you were coming from character development, so tell us a little bit about these two characters to your left and right here before we get going too far along.
Yeah, both guys that have been in the program. It was a captain's meeting that we're coming from. So we have 6 seniors, and 5 of those guys are captains. 2 of these guys being part of that. But just great role models. Like I said, been in the program for 4 and 5 years and have done a phenomenal job of just passing down our message from the top, holding the standard, and pushing all the guys.
Hey, Coach, I want to, and this is kind of a question for Brady and Shaun. You know, in today's transfer portal environment, you guys are kind of the anomaly of what we'd have had on. You know, you guys have been in the program, recruited, been there for a long time versus transferring in. Just individually kind of tell us what brought you to Georgia Southern. And then the second part of that question is, with the portal, how hard is it to acclimate guys and create culture very quickly? And what role does everybody play in that?
I think for myself, just like out of high school, Woff didn't directly recruit me, but he was along for the process. He wasn't here my first year in the program, but he knew who I was coming in and when I was in high school. And Alan Beck was the one who kind of recruited me, and he showed a lot of interest, showing up to games, talking to me frequently, and just kind of made it feel like at home. I got down here and realized it was kind of like the lifestyle that I like to live, like what I want to, be around, surrounded every day. I like the culture. I like the guys. I kind of like the way we go about things. And then when it comes to the transfer portal, I mean, I was here for, bulk of my career. The portal kind of opened up as my career went along. And I mean, I really felt there was no need for a change. I established what I wanted to here. I got the roles that I wanted here, the people I want, the connections and everything. And really just kind of fell in love with the town of Statesboro itself. So I didn't find myself wanting to leave ever.
Yeah, kind of what Shaun said. I grew up in a small town, so I came down here when I was 14 for a baseball camp, and at first I told my family that I'm never playing there. The Nats are too bad. I can't do it, whatever. But just knowing like this town's pretty much just like my hometown, just with a big college in it, and just coming here and it felt like home from the start. So it's hard to leave home. And then just for like the transfer portal stuff, it's big early getting everyone together because everyone's new. You're never going to have the same amount of people or the same people on the team. There's so many new guys. So just early, just trying to force people to get out of their comfort zone and just all become one.
How much do you lean on veteran guys like Brady and Shaun? When you're bringing in guys in the transfer portal, do you have them kind of hang out with some of the older established guys and get their opinion like, hey, is this guy a cultural fit for us?
Yeah, I think, one, you try to recruit it, but Coach Hennon does a phenomenal job of making sure it's a big point of emphasis for our team. He knows how important it is when guys come together because inevitably you do hit tough parts in seasons, and typically the teams that make it on the other side of that are the ones that are closest together. And a huge part of making sure guys are close are guys like Shaun and Brady, the older guys that have been in the program. You hope to keep guys in it so they know what it looks like, but they can keep pushing that standard and, help the young guys go through the hard times and kind of lean on them. And like I said, they've done a phenomenal job of that. And I think, it's huge for us.
One question that I've been getting to, and it's kind of been a lot of fun, so I'm going to throw it out a little earlier than I have been the past couple episodes, but you guys are literally around the corner from throwing out that first pitch now. I got to know the walk-up songs for Brady and Shaun here. What are we coming out to this year, fellas?
So I'm keeping this. I added one this year, but I'm keeping the same one. It's "I Got It" by Gorilla Zoe, and then I added a second one this year. It's "Do the John Wall" by Troop 41.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, I'm going with "Welcome to the Jungle." So
nice.
Yeah,
nice, Coach. Obviously, you don't get a walkout song, but if you could choose one right now, what would you be going with?
Man, I don't know. When I played, I had "Living It Up" by Ja Rule.
Okay.
I don't know what I would go with right now, though. We got some guys that got some solid ones. I'd probably stay away from rap, though. I think I would go probably more country or something that gets the crowd going.
Nice. You got any jokesters on the team that are going to come out to something kind of wonky and have everybody laughing?
To be honest, I haven't looked at their walk-ups a ton. They played for the first time, at least that I could think of, this past weekend, but I didn't really hone in on them that hard. These guys would know better than me, though.
I don't think we have any crazy ones.
Okay.
So
Nice.
we've kind of asked every team this, and y'all can all answer this individually. At the end of the season, when it's all said and done, what do y'all want the identity of this team to be? Like, what do you want to be known for every time you take the field?
I know that one thing that we've always tried and prided ourselves on is we want to be the team that nobody wants to play. I mean, you got to play a full 9 innings, so you got to beat us, the entirety of the game. You can't just come out there and, expect us to give up. So at the end of the year, I want everyone to look back and be like, man, regardless if we, win or lose, succeed, fail, get to the levels that we want to reach, we just want to be known as a team that those guys never quit and they're going to give you everything we had each game.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brady.
It's kind of what Shaun said, just refusing to lose. I mean, the aspect of, everyone wants to win, but really just kind of just not wanting to lose. Just doing whatever it takes to not lose the game. Just fight until the last final out.
Right. I think that's kind of some of the aura that Georgia Southern was kind of built on, the blue-collar mindset, the greediness. So being relentless and being a team that nobody really wants to play is kind of what we try to focus on.
Yeah. You guys aren't far removed. What was it? Is it 2 years ago? It was Eagles versus the Golden Eagles for the conference championship down in Alabama, right? So, I mean, I said the same thing with Texas State last night. We ran through how many ranked teams that they had beat last year and didn't make it through the conference tournament. It's so many. There are so many teams in this conference that are right there. A handful of games make a massive bit of difference. And again, I'll reiterate the fact that Troy's another one of those teams. 1 or 2 games could have been all the difference for them last year in making the postseason. So it's going to be incredible to see what happens in this conference this year. I do want to jump into that next here with the out-of-conference slate. You guys got some interesting games here. Obviously, some ones that you've kind of played a couple of years in a row, but you've got some that you don't see maybe quite as often. I'm thinking of USF there specifically. Shaun, let's start with you. Which one's kind of standing out, whether it be, someone else on the team or you're just looking forward to going on the road and playing one of these teams?
Yeah, I mean, to that fact, when we play Friday, we got one of our old teammates, Shaun Smith, playing West Virginia. So we get to open up with a team that's been back-to-back super regionals. They're knocking on the door of Omaha, so we know they're a good program. And then you look at, all the in-state rivalries. You got Mercer, Kennesaw, Georgia Tech. Those are all games. One thing as a team we pride ourselves on is being the best in-state team and beating all those guys that we get to play. We get to play them both twice a year. So those are always games that I look forward to.
Yeah, I'd say for me, and just going up the line here, West Virginia, just because we've waited so long to get to that opening day. I think the past 2 weeks feel like they're just dragging out because we're just so ready to be in one dugout together playing against somebody else. So I think we're all pretty fired up to get to play them.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say West Virginia. Obviously they're a great program and everything, but it's opening weekend. You can't wait. That's almost one of the best weekends of the year. And then you got all the in-state like Georgia Tech. That one's big. I know a couple guys like my buddies are on that team, and it's just going and playing them. And the last couple of years we've been right there with them, and just it keep falling short. And I can't wait to beat Georgia Tech. Really, that's my big thing. I can't stand them.
Hey, Coach, quick question. Are you involved in making the schedule at all?
I'm not. I'm not.
Okay.
No, Coach Hinnon heads that up.
Gotcha. How big is it? Because, Shaun definitely talked about, winning in state. How big is that for you guys to schedule in-state teams and then to win those for recruiting?
Yeah, no, in-state makes a ton of sense because of the travel too. Mercer's an hour and a half up the road. Georgia Tech, if you're not getting any traffic, you're looking at just over 3. So all those from an RPI standpoint are really nice too, and they're close to you. And then, recruiting, I mean, we can get kids to all those games. We're on a lot of the times the same guys, so being able to beat those teams too is nice. But I think there's just a little more blood in those just because you see them more often, and I think there's some pride into winning your state too. So
yeah. Now, Brady, did I read that you have a brother that goes to Clemson?
He's graduated there now, but yes, he did go to Clemson. Yes.
Gotcha. So, any smack talk between you and him with Clemson on the schedule?
There's a little bit, but he was a golfer, so he didn't really look into the baseball a whole lot. But yeah, no, there definitely is some smack talk going on.
Very nice.
Very nice. Yeah. And for those that you guys didn't specifically mention it, but that West Virginia game, that series, I should say, is at home. It's at your place. So that's big to be hosting a team that, like you said, is coming off a pretty good season right off the get. And USC Upstate, for those that don't know, I mean, they won their conference last year. So that's also going to help your RPI. Maybe some people that aren't paying attention to baseball as much are coming in and looking at this and not knowing very much on that. But, your schedule is lined very, very well outside of conference. And we haven't even talked about the in-conference slate. So we'll jump over to that now, too, because that doesn't get any easier than what you've got on the outside, which is awesome, right, as a competitor. But which ones, and we'll start at the top and go down this time, Brady, which ones are sticking out to you on this part, whether it be, a home slate or an away game you're looking forward to?
I mean, there's Georgia State, another in-state that it's just that rivalry, the blood, just wanting to win your state. But really for me, is the JMU series. That I'm looking forward to that one just after last year's series and then the year before that losing at their place. It's just we owe something to those guys.
There you go.
Yeah, Dom, and I think you spoke on it, the conference being so good. The margin of error that you have from game to game is crazy. They all matter, but game to game and playing such good teams is good from an RPI standpoint, but I think it brings on – I mean, you could have rivalries with all these guys, just because it's every single game matters that much. So for me as a coach, we want them all pretty bad, so I think for me, it'd be tough to choose in between all those, but it's a lot of fun playing in this league for sure.
And I think for myself, I look back over like the course of like the teams that I've played and the teams we've had success against. One that jumps out to me is Coastal. Again, there's a Philip Ard who just transferred there. He'll be there. I will get a chance to play against him. And, we hadn't had the best of luck against them. They're coming off of being, they're falling just short of winning the national championship, the College World Series. They're always, a great team to play. I want to take that series so bad. Southern Miss, we didn't get to play them last year in the regular season, but 24 when we played in the conference championship, we beat them for 8 innings and they just etched us out in the 9th inning. So getting a lick back on them and then Troy as well. I mean, those 3 teams right there are slated to be, projected to be the best in the conference. So, I mean, I want a piece of what they say is the best because I think with the talent that we bring and the experience that, we're just as good, if not better than, everyone in this league. So I think those 3 for me are ones that I'm really excited to get out and compete against.
Absolutely.
Kind of got a follow-up question, and Coach, you kind of mentioned it, like the margin of error in this conference is razor thin. Like from top to bottom, every team can win. We always say on this podcast, like the Sun Belt is not a mid-major baseball conference. This is a power baseball conference. If you look at the draft picks, you mentioned Coastal, 3 runs short of a national championship. We had 2 teams host, traditionally put 4 teams in. Can all you guys just kind of speak about the talent that you see on a week-in, week-out basis every time a bus pulls into your school or you guys pull into another school, just the dudes that you're seeing on the mound and in the batter's box?
Yeah, I mean, you could look back at the conference tournament last year and the rankings going into that. I think going into the last weekend, we could have finished 4th or 9th. And so everybody was jumbled up right there, games apart from one another. And I think that's a credit to having so many teams with so much talent. You prepare and you try to beat somebody, but when all else is pretty square, it's finding a way to be consistent and pulling out the win. And there's so many teams. I mean, as a hitting coach, you're seeing 92, 95 all the time, and these guys, as Shaun as a hitter, and get prepared for that. It's challenging. So I think trying to create challenging environments for them to be prepared for all that is ultra important because we're going to see it. And it makes it fun too. I think there's another level of lock-in to yourself when you're facing quality opponents like that they're going to be coming at you with really good stuff, big league stuff.
Yeah. How about you guys? Just kind of you've been in this league for a long time, both Brady and Shaun. Just Shaun as a hitter, and then Brady, just speak on the talent that you see every weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think you obviously have Southern Miss and Coastal who have been top of the line the past however many years, but then over the course that I've been here, you see teams that have fluctuated up and down. I mean, it's spread across the whole league. Like Marshall had kind of a breakout year. They revamped their program. They had a lot of talent, success. JMU a couple of years ago, making it to a regional, playing against South Carolina. They had a ton of great guys. Texas State, my freshman year, they were ranked top 10 nationally. I mean, just the talent is spread out. If they don't make up for it on the mound, they make up for it with their bats, and then vice versa. It's just, it's spread out between everybody, and every week is competitive. There's no cakewalk team in this league anymore.
Yeah, I mean, going off what they said, there's not a single weekend you can take off and just think, oh, this is an easy, at least 2 games. We're definitely winning 3. I mean, there's no weekend where you're not fighting all 3 games. And even if you drop the first 2, fighting for that win on Sunday is huge in this conference, because 1 to 2 games makes you from, like last year, we were 4th to 9th. Those 1 or 2 games is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I got one before we move on to something else. Still dealing with the Sunbelt slate. The Bobcats are leaving, right? We know that next year they'll be in whatever the pack is going to name themselves, because they're not going to have 12 teams to start with. But is it kind of exciting to kind of get out there one last time, especially before you guys finish playing up, get back there to Texas one more time and kind of try and take the Bobcats down for one last effort in the Sunbelt play here?
Yeah, I know. I don't know if Brady's been out there. I think the last time we played them regular season was possibly my freshman year at their place. I think they came here once. But, I mean, San Marcos is a really cool place, getting out there, the environment, playing at that stadium. I mean, the talent that they bring, they're always, whether they're scrappy, at the plate or whether they're dominant on the mound. It's always just a fun time being out there. And so I, would really love to go out there and see history repeat itself and us take the series from them.
Yeah, I've never been out to Texas State, so that was his freshman year. But they came here one time, and then just being able to go. I mean, I like going out there. I haven't been there, so going out there for the first time will be fun, and just knowing that. I mean, for me, this is the last time I'm going to see him. I assume Georgetown will play him in the future, but just going out there and just knowing that you can win this last series, I'll be able to play against them, or the last in-conference series that they'll be in here. So winning that last one will be huge.
Coach, you looking forward to that trip? You know anybody on staff over there at Texas State?
I don't, not super well. But I haven't been to Texas State since like 2017 or 2018. So it's been a while. I think last time I was there, they didn't have a turf field. But San Marcos is a great place. And I know every time that I have been there prior, the wind's been blowing out. And as a hitting coach, that's always a little more fun. So I don't mind that.
Did y'all play in Marshall last year?
We did.
You did. We have heard that is a not hitter-friendly ballpark. The balls just die.
Yeah, and it was kind of strange. We did have one game where the wind was oddly blowing out, but it was more of a pitcher's park for the rest of it. And I could definitely see what they're talking about. Yeah.
I want to bring it back to Georgia Southern for a second, and I know the question I'm going to ask, don't feel like you're going to leave anybody out, but tell us some players that maybe transferred in, or maybe someone that was a role player last year that is going to break out and be a household name down there in Statesboro this season.
Yeah, well, we have 25 new guys, 14 of which being freshmen. I think one to maybe make sure you're paying attention to is Bryson Trammell. He didn't have as many at-bats, I know, as that he wanted last year, but he's just one of those guys that gets after it every day and has grown a ton. Trying to think. Jonathan Jamie, another older guy who's a big part of it. He'll have big moments as well. James McCoy is a transfer from Kentucky, who's a big part of our offense. Like I said, there's some freshman guys in there that are huge that should roll for us. Jack Myers has made a big jump for us. He played some, mostly in the DH role for us last year, but he's a second baseman, middle infielder by nature. But he'll be at second base to start for us, and really good hitter, and looking forward to him to get off to a good start. And he's more than capable of doing it. And then Nico Sinise, the cool thing about Nico, he worked really hard this summer stayed back over campus with us and put on about 15 pounds for himself, which was much needed. And I think the ball's coming off his bat a little better too. So really excited about that. On the mound, it's a lot of new faces, but some of the guys that are looking to make some jumps too. Thomas Burke is an arm for us that we're looking to keep moving forward, and he's shown to make a big jump so far with velo, command, all that. Carter DeGandhi is set to be our Friday night arm. He kind of did a little bit of both for us. He started out of the bullpen, ended up being our Sunday guy, but he's done a great job and kind of helping Pendley lead up the staff. And Will Robbins, another older guy, one of our captains who will be a big part of this too. But a lot of new faces, and the biggest part is guys like Shaun and Brady, bringing them all in and getting them on board.
Yeah, you guys got anybody that I know Coach just named a lot of guys, but anybody else you guys think at the end of the year is going to have a breakout season?
I think from the hitter side, I think one that pops out and has had a really good preseason right now for me has been Sammy Lease. He's jumped kind of like defensively behind the plate, and then as well with his bat, he's come around. He's worked on his weaknesses. He's become just more all-around solid. And then we got some younger guys, Mason Gazaway, who kind of didn't really show us what he had in the very beginning of the fall, but then towards the end realized he's going to be one of our key players out in center field. And then John Davis, another one out in left field, started in center, but realized, he could be used in left field. He brings kind of a spark plug at bat. And then one that I really like that I think is going to get a shot when he gets his chances, and he can run with it. He can run the bases probably better than anyone I've ever seen is KT Thompson. He has the spark plug kind of get after it mentality that you really don't see too often from a freshman.
Yeah, on the pitching side, you got Chase Davis from South Alabama transferring over. He's going to be a big part of our rotation and bullpen and whatnot. And then you have like Alex Mason's been throwing, or he pitched some last year, but he's been throwing really well this fall. So looking for him to be a big part of our bullpen. And then Dayson, a freshman that came in, we're looking at him to be one of our dudes. He's looking really solid right now.
Nice.
Very nice. I want to get back into a fun one here because we are at the Winter Olympics, and obviously everything's kind of happening all at once. I'm going to make Shaun go first because he has the Winter Olympic name for this. I'm sure he's heard that, throughout his whole life here because the Flying Tomato shares the same name. I don't think it's not spelled the same, is it?
It is not.
Okay, yeah. But if you could compete or wanted to compete in the Winter Olympics, which discipline or sport are you choosing? We'll start with you, Shaun. We'll just go up the board here.
I think the obvious answer, just because of my name, has got to be snowboarding, right?
There you go.
Shaun White is one of the most highly decorated snowboarders of all time. So I feel like if I didn't give it a go, then I wouldn't really be living up to the name. You know what I mean?
There you go. Yeah. I feel like you're right. You kind of had to go with that one, but solid choice.
I think I would go with hockey. I don't know if that would be what Pendley's going with, but Miracle is probably one of my favorite movies. Unfortunately, growing up in Georgia, hockey's not as prevalent. You're not spending too much time on the ice, so never really got to play it. But I think hockey would be a fun one. If I wasn't doing that, though, I think Cool Runnings and bobsledding, I think I could get behind that.
You couldn't do any worse than the U.S. team where 3 or 4 guys didn't make it into the sled the other day.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
It is harder than it looks. Okay, I'm not making fun of them, but you don't see that often where the one guy goes down on the 4-man sled because the other 3 missed it. So hopefully the U.S. can improve upon that. But good choice, Coach. I like the hockey choice. Brady, what are you going with here?
If I had to go pick off of what I would be probably better at, I would say snowboarding, just because I grew up wakeboarding.
Okay.
But if I wanted to go off what I would enjoy the most, it'd probably be hockey.
Nice.
I think they need to add a rule in baseball where you can just have one-on-one fight and then it be over and call it a day.
That is one of the best things about hockey is you get in a fight, you get a 5-minute timeout, and everything's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back at it.
Yeah. So, guys, I'm going to ask one final question. I ask it to everybody, and I want the players first and then coach you. I mentioned earlier, I run a travel ball program. A lot of my kids listen to these podcasts. My 2 kids who have played baseball, listen to the podcast as well. So I'm sure you guys were the same, right? 10, 11, 12 years old in the backyard, doing home run derby, game 7 of the World Series. Every kid who plays ball wants to be a Division I baseball player, get a shot to get drafted and a shot to make it to the show. So if you could talk to the 10 to 12-year-old version of yourself to kind of get to where you guys are, what's the best piece of advice that you'd give to a kid?
I think for me, just kind of like my experience growing up to where I am now is, if you're not the best player at 10 or 12 years old, who cares? I mean, those guys, I know a lot of those guys that I played with, they were bigger than me. They were better, faster, stronger. But you look at it now and, I mean, their careers ended after their senior year of high school. I mean, that's not the goal. If your goal is really to play baseball, you're going to play after high school. So, put your head down, go to work every day, work on what you need to work on. And, when the time comes, everybody – becomes the player that they need to be at the right time. If that's at 12 years old, that's at 12 years old. But the goal is to get better every year. So if you're not the best player, right now, don't let it eat you up. Just show up every day with the mindset of getting better. And then eventually you'll get that moment where you realize, I'm the best player out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think I just have to say failure is a good thing, and just don't quit. Just keep going. No matter what happens, just keep pushing through it, and you'll make it out the other side.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things is just keep falling in love with practice, loving to compete, and listening to your coaches, trying to soak everything in and compete at the highest level. And then, like Shaun said, as you get older, the rest takes care of itself. But if I can just focus on, learning and getting better on that in that day and in that moment, and stacking them, just trying to keep moving up the ladder. Next thing you know, you'll look and you'll be there, but you can't jump steps, and you got to take it one day at a time and focus on that day and fall in love with competing and practice.
Nice. Awesome. I love it. All very useful. And again, as I said last night to one of the other teams, like that's stuff that you can use across any discipline, right? Like the sport is almost irrelevant. The part that we're taking to heart is what's being said and how you're treating, how you're going about it. The last thing we'll end with, the very last thing, tell people where they can follow you guys. There's going to be people wanting to follow the journey even farther. And Coach, obviously, there might be some kids who say, I like that guy. He's got the weight room in the background. I'm ready to go to work for him. So we'll go across from Brady to Shaun on the socials, whether you want to give out 1 or 2 or 3, whatever it is.
Man, I always give out my Instagram. It's actually, I need to check real quick.
I just pulled mine up, so I can go ahead and tell you my Instagram.
Yeah, you go ahead and go.
If anyone's curious, it's Shaun SEAN_W_5.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah, mine's Brady _Pendley, all lowercase.
Nice.
Yeah, for me, a lot of it, like just seeing stuff is on Twitter, and I think mine's Cody Wofford 13. But anything Georgia Southern baseball, tagging me, any of that good stuff helps me see it. So definitely don't mind it.
Absolutely. Coach, I want to ask one last question. A lot of coaches have made some funny jokes because obviously you got players reaching out to you on Twitter all the time, trying to get recruited. Every coach has said they feel like they need to give a clinic and like an email or a direct message that kids send to coaches because apparently some of the stuff that they send is, I think one coach said a kid had his T-ball bio in there. Best piece of advice to a kid that wants to reach out to someone like you to get recruited, to send in an email or a DM to get your attention.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, a lot of it is word of mouth, especially if you haven't seen that person. So just like any other job, that reference list and finding a way to have a connection, maybe there's a chance there's not. In that case, I would say video. But a lot of times it's people you trust anyways, travel ball coaches, all these people that have, talking on the road and recruiting, just making sure you find that dot and just try to connect it.
Well, guys, this has been phenomenal stuff. Thank you for being one of the few that's done this 2 years in a row. We do really appreciate it. Like I said, I came repping tonight. I got the GS polo on for you. And best of luck. Seriously, as Friday is now ever so close, and you guys actually get to do the thing that you've been practicing for a long time here now. So good luck, and thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
Yeah, appreciate
Thank you guys.
Thank you.